Section 3.3, we really focus on the unit circle. And to just reiterate what we've said before, the unit circle has its center at the origin and a radius of 1. So everywhere along the circle, in the unit circle, the radius is 1. So let's think about these four these 4 points at the quadrantal angles. So if the radius is 1, then this point is 1, 0. And this point would be 0 on the x, and it's up 1 unit because that's 1. Here we'd be -1, 0, and this would be 0, -1. And in this, any point along the unit circle has a coordinate of x, y. And all of them around the unit circle, the x part is going to be the cosine of that theta. The y part of the point is going to be the sine. So that's something really important to start a foundation for on working with the unit circle. Let's go down a little bit. So if you're looking at that, sine of pi over 2, here's pi over 2 or 90. Sine is 1. What is cosine? Cosine is cosine of pi. Let's look at cosine of pi. What is that? It's the first number, so -1. Cosine of pi is -1. The sine of 270 or 3 pi over 2 is down here, and the sine is the second one. So the sine of that is -1. The tangent of 3 pi over 2, that's a little different. Tan, remember, is sine over cosine. So sine for that is -1, and the cosine for that is 0. That's undefined. So the tangent of that would be undefined. So in some practice problems here in the lecture notes, it just says find the sine theta, cosine theta, tan theta. We just did that for 3 pi over 2. Let's do it for pi over 2. Looking back at our picture, sine is 1, cosine is 0. So sine is, where did I go? Cosine, I didn't get to the right part. Here we go. Sine is 1, cosine is 0. Tangent is that over that, so we're still undefined, just like we were at the 3 pi over 2. At 2 pi, let's go back. So 2 pi, we're right back over here, all the way here. So cosine is 1, sine is 0, and tangent is 0 over 1, which would be 0. The unit circle is very helpful in those calculations. So, find the exact trig function, use the unit circle. And there is a unit circle handout in your course, and so you could get it. There's going to be a video of how to derive the unit circle. And so I would say you should print a blank one and follow along with that video as well. But before we have that, these are the things that you would be looking at. What's the sine of 7 pi over 6? The cosine of 5 pi over 3. So once you have that unit circle in front of you, this one's not complete. So once you have it, you would be able to fill in those things. With the answers provided here. So I would say print out that unit circle that is part of the handout notes, and then you would be able to do those pretty easily. Now these are on your calculator, and sine of 0.6109, you could do that. Let's do that on the calculator just to make sure. So when we pull up the calculator and we're doing that, the first thing you have to remember, there's no degrees symbol here. So you want to go to your mode and make sure that you go to radian mode. So the radian is like 1, 2, 3, fourth thing down, go down and make sure you hit enter on radian. It will change it to the radian mode. And then when you go in, you can just say sine of 0.6109 and you will get the correct answer. For the last couple of ones there, cosecant of negative 9.4946. Cosecant is 1 over sine, so you could do 1 divided by sine of that, and you should get that answer. Cotan is 1 over tan of 6.0301. So I think you get that idea. Let's go look at the actual homework problem set and see what those are going to look like. All right, so for this one, so we're talking about the unit circle and we're going to complete the coordinates for each point indicated. So we're supposed to be learning as we've been working these three angles, 30, 45, and 60. And if we go around here knowing that we're supposed to fill in the coordinates, remember it's cosine, comma, sine. So for 0, cosine and sine are 0, 1. For B, oh, whoops, I'm sorry, I am backwards. Well, let's start up here where they did. So at pi over 2, the sine of that is 1, and the cosine is 0. Remember the coordinates that we talked about, that was 0, 1. That one's easy to remember. And this one down here is 1, comma, 0. So those two are always easy to remember. Now B is 60 degrees, and the cosine of 60 is 1/2. The sine is square root of 3 over 2. For 30, those are reversed. So sine is 1/2, and cosine is square root of 3 over 2. 45 is easy. It's square root of 2 over 2 for both of them. So those are things that we actually should begin to know. And then we go over here. So we're looking now, that's all filled in. What's the cosine of pi over 3? We go to pi over 3. Cosine's the first item in the ordered pair. That's 1/2. The cosecant of pi over 4. Well, cosecant is 1 over sine. So sine of 45 is square root of 2 over 2. If you flip that to get the cosecant, and then you rationalize it, times square root of 2 over square root of 2, you get 2 square roots of 2 over 2. Those cancel, and you're left with square root of 2. Tan of pi over 6. Here's pi over 6, and remember tan is sine over cosine. So that's 1/2 over the square root of 3 over 2. Flip this one. You have 1 over 2 times 2 over square root of 3. That leaves 1 over the square root of 3. Rationalize, and you get square root of 3 over 3. It's helpful to write this out for yourself so that you remember which things you're substituting. If cosine S is 0 in the first quadrant, what is the theta? And theta is pi over 2. So you're looking for where do I have cosine, which is the first part of the ordered pair, 0. All right. This one gives you that you have this angle, and this is on the unit circle. So we know that we have certain things. Cosine is 1/2, sine is square root of 3 over 2. So those are easy to fill in. Tan is sine over cosine. So again, you're flipping. Those cancel out. You're left with square root of 3. Once you have the sine, cosine, and tan, you are just flipping and rationalizing when you need to. So secant is the flip of cosine, cosecant is the flip of sine, and cotan is the flip of tan. Number 7, same idea. We have an angle, and its terminal side is on the unit circle, so we automatically know cosine is here and sine is here. So that's a good start for us if we're having to do all of them. So sine is 12 over 13. Cosine is negative 5 over 13. Tangent, we're going to put sine over cosine. Flip the bottom one. Remember, we have a negative, and we end up with negative 12 over 5. Once we have these three, we flip them, and we get the others. And there's no rationalizing. There were no square roots in that, so you're just literally flipping, and you're good there. Find the exact value. Don't use a calculator. And if we look back at our unit circle, pi over 3, I think we can go back up here. Pi over 3, sine of that is square root of 3 over 2. So use your unit circle to help you in getting this. Tan of pi over 4, square root of 2 over 2, over square root of 2 over 2. That's something over itself. That gives you 1. Cosecant of pi over 3. Well, you go look at sine of pi over 3, and that's square root of 3 over 2. Flip it and rationalize, and you get 2 square roots of 3 over 3. For calculator, definitely be in radian mode, like we said in the lecture notes. Sine of 1.1832 says round to 4 places. You should get this when you do it. I did it down here so you could see that one. You do the same thing for cosine and for tangent. Make sure that you have it in radian mode. And I had all of those showing you the screenshots of those. And that should get you through this. Again, there should be a video of deriving the unit circle. So look for that as well, and that will get you started.